get stitches, they bleed out. This the hit list. Don't wait for karma to come around. This the hit list.
Welcome, YouTube, to the Hit or Miss Show. I'm the big dog.
I'm lucky, y'all.
He's lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Our topic, or review, I should say, is on Predators 1 and 2.
We did a twofer.
Yeah, so we were going to do two separate videos and put them into one, but you know what? We're going to do a treat for you guys and just do one video of both movies.
Yeah.
And we're going to go back and forth and see what's better between the, what's different between the two movies. And what we liked about both of them and what we didn't like about both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got everything we need. We got our beverages. And we got our Florida State flag. And we have our topic.
Yeah, which
Predator.
is Predator
1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
The OG.
Well, between the two videos, I do have to say, obviously, one was made in the late 80s, the other one was made in
literally 1990, like
in the early 90s.
Right in the beginning of the 90s.
Right. And, there's a big difference between, it was very dated, because...
Oh, yeah, and both of them were kind of dated. Like, they were using stock footage of the invisibility from the first movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie, and it had more believability factor to it.
Yeah, it had more of a story behind... Well, both of them had a great story behind it, but this one had more action in the second movie than the first one.
Right.
And, heck, the movie starts out in a drug war.
Yeah.
And so Arnold Schwarzenegger starred in the first one.
Right, and Danny Glover starred in the second one.
Yeah. And again, you had an all-star lineup. You had Carl Weathers, Jesse the Body Ventura, Arnold.
Right.
And then you had Gary Busey, Danny Glover, and Bill Paxton.
And Gary Busey, oh my God.
He made that movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
The banter between Gary Busey and Danny Glover was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was a lot better than the banter between Carl Weathers and Arnold.
All right.
And, but yeah, so we're going to get right into this. So the first movie takes place in the jungle. The second movie takes place...
in the concrete jungle.
In the concrete jungle known as, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get to a scene that... I don't know if it's true or not, but they had a scene where it was on a subway. I'm not sure if Los Angeles or California has any subways. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
But, well, then again, they could have shot that at the Universal Studios backlot, because they do have that earthquake ride.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, and both Predators, I couldn't believe the difference between the both Predators. And so you got one that takes place in the forest, in the jungle, and the other one takes place in the city. This one the second one shows off the Predator right away. Where in the first one it was like an hour build-up to Predator.
He had more weapons too, better weapons.
Oh yeah. He had. Let's talk about the weapons. The first one he had the claw.
What he had in this one.
And then he had the other one. They both had the shooting dagger thing in both of them. The second Predator had the net, this retractable net.
Yeah, that was with the steel cable wires that tightens to you and starts cutting you.
Yeah, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. Well, not nice, obviously, but
the way they did it looked cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He also had this disc that was razor sharp.
Right.
And then he had a wrist cannon.
Yep.
He had a shoulder... obviously, they both had the shoulder cannons.
Right, and they still both saw an infrared.
Yeah, they both saw an infrared, except for the second Predator. He could change his vision. And I thought that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool feature they added in the second movie, that he could change his...
Well, see, in the jungle, I can see where having heat vision would come in handy.
Yeah. But but most of the movie he was using the infrared until the scene where they're in the meat packaging place, and he switched to a different vision where he could see the UV lights that they were using, and yeah, so it was good. Well, he had a spear. in this one.
Right, yeah. He still
also
had
had
the
this-
self-destruct bomb.
Yeah, which Danny Glover chops off his arm, and
Right.
I guess if you chop off the arm, it deactivates the self-destruct button because it never went off.
And like you actually get to see inside his ship in this one.
Oh yeah, and I like it because it has a throwback to the movie Alien. There's a skull
Yeah.
of an alien,
Right.
and
Kind of like an Easter egg for Alien vs. Predator.
yeah, and it's kind of funny because they did make a Predator game on the NES.
Mm-hmm.
And they did make a Predator 2 game, but it didn't come out for much later until PlayStation came out, called Predator 2: The Concrete Jungle. And so I thought that was pretty neat. Both movies were box office hits.
Yeah. They didn't make like a super lot of money, but by the time you
Yeah.
think about budget, but
Yeah.
they made some money.
I mean, you figure two of the leading stars in the movies were big at that time.
You know, in my opinion, anything over $1 million is a lot of money
Yeah.
for a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we had $1 million.
Huh.
Let's see, what other weapons? You had this two-prong thing
Mm-hmm.
that I thought was pretty cool. It just shot out, and you still had the claw. And then at the end, it revealed a whole group of predators. And I love Danny Glover. He's like, "Who's next?" After he drops the one weapon that could have probably saved him.
Yo, that spaceship was tight though.
Oh yeah, and I loved how it could have ended with him using the self-destruct button, but at the same time, Danny Glover was probably thinking about the city because they had just had a whole conversation with Gary Busey in the truck about a bomb went off and took out like almost the whole forest
Mm-hmm.
in the first movie, and I liked how they tied the first one into the second one, and they even showed video clips of them in the jungle in the first one. I thought it was cool. But yeah, as far as the graphics, they're both heavily dated.
They are, but you gotta admit, the Predator 2 is better.
Oh yeah,
Graphic-wise.
Graphic-wise,
My opinion, the storyline was better in the first Predator,
yeah. But I did like the reveal at the end.
but it did have more action scenes.
Yeah, and the reveal at the end of the second movie was awesome, where they showed all the predators, and then he gave the predator a warrior's death,
Yeah.
and because of that, they gave him a trophy.
Right, a gun that said 1775,
No, 1815.
1815.
Yeah, and I guess they've been around since the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was great. They're not the greatest movies, but they're still on our hit list.
Oh yeah, they're great.
And it's good to throw on and have a casual view of, you can put it on and just kick back, and don't even have to watch it. Just listening to the movie will make your blood curdle because of the screams and the bone crunching and the.
Yeah.
But they didn't really. There was one scene where they had the drug guys.
Why does he skin them? Like, they don't really get into it.
I'm wondering if it's like a warrior's thing, like a hunter's thing, like a hunter hunting his prey.
Don't waste anything.
Yeah, like if you go to hunt a deer or something, you string the deer up and you skin the deer.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what he was doing. That's just how he does it. It's got to be a predator thing, or it's a hunter's thing. I mean,
Maybe it's one of the movies. Maybe we gotta finish watching the movies.
Yeah, I mean there are so many movies that came out after this. You had AVP.
Maybe we can use it as filler.
Yeah,
When we're coming up with a hard idea, we can pull out the old Predator card.
yeah, yeah. Because
Because we have stuff planned right now.
yeah, we have a lot going on, which we're gonna get into in a few minutes of what we're gonna be doing in the future. But yeah, both movies are great. They're both have a lot of big names in them.
I mean, there's really not a lot to talk about.
Not really. I mean, it's not one of those you can sit down and have like a full. Now, if you're going out to like a bar and you're talking about, oh hey, what's your favorite Predator movie? Then you have a whole group of people talking about different
Because
scenes.
it's good, but it was great back when it came out.
Yeah. Like I said, the graphics are dated, and they basically just use the same technology for the cloaking devices they used in the first one, except for maybe it could have been worse in the second
I
one.
want to see the new one on Hulu.
Yeah, they do have a new Predator.
It's called Prey.
Prey, yeah.
You watched the trailer, didn't you?
Yeah, we watched the trailer. I think it looked good.
I was busy doing something.
It looked good. It was like a prequel to the Predator series.
Oh, okay.
It shows these two Native American girls out going hunting, and one of them gets trapped in a beaver dam, and she shot a bear right in the head.
Awesome.
And then all of a sudden the bear just drops dead, and then the Predator's standing, holding this bear up over his head, standing there. And then it's just basically it's a survival style movie, which is awesome. That's the way it should have been.
Yeah.
And that's just the way. And then they have like all these other people in there. They have like these, I guess, fur trappers in there. And
No, that's an actual like Hulu movie.
That's an Hulu original, yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna look. I'm thinking I'm gonna watch it, or we're gonna watch it. And I know we don't do a lot of modern, like up-to-date movies, but we might have to do a down the road
Well, eventually we are. You know.
Yeah.
We're just sticking with what we know with right now.
Yeah.
We haven't really branched out yet.
Yeah, I think the newest.
Men Who Stare at Groats, we kind of branched out.
Yeah, and Chimps we branched out because that was the newest one we've done. That was in 2017.
Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing new movies.
Yeah, new movies. It's just, to me, when I look at a movie, I want to find something I feel nostalgic for. And not only that, I mean, new movies are great, but I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't watched it yet. I mean, like the new Batman movie.
I haven't seen that yet. I gotta watch it. It's a 3-hour movie though.
I finally watched it all the way through.
Is it good?
Oh yeah, and
I heard it was good.
set it up for a second one.
But we're not here to talk about that.
No, I'm not here to talk about Batman. We're talking about Predator. And in 2004, they came out with AVP, and then it was funny. Literally months after that movie came out, AVP 2 came out.
Yeah.
And it was just as bad as the first one, if not worse, because it was too dark.
Well, I'm not going to say anything about it because I haven't really watched it, and if it has, it's been a long time. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, but we're going to do those eventually. Eventually.
Like I said, we'll use them as fillers.
Yeah. But that's us talking about Predator 2. I mean, what was your favorite one of the two movies?
It depends on the category.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of...
As far as special effects, I would have to go to the second one. Storyline, the first one. But the second one had more action, and it had better action, which makes no sense, because the one was literally dropped in a war zone.
Yeah.
And the other one was dropped in a gang war.
Yeah. And God only knows how long the other one was been there, because they never... Well, they say that they've been around since the 1800s, but they never established how long he was there in the city.
I think if they took certain aspects from like the first movie and the second movie and kind of combined it,
it would have been great.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen a crossover with Danny Glover's character and Arnold's character.
Imagine the original Predator, but with the technology we have now.
Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, that was our take on Predator.
Yeah, and Predator 2. I mean,
Predator 2. I mean, it was
like you said earlier. They had great. It was, they had great cast, good script.
And like I said, there's a lot of good things and dated things and some bad stuff about each one of them.
And Danny Glover's always sweating.
Yeah, I know. They must have had a guy on set to wipe his sweat off. I was like imagining the director saying...
I wonder if they had to use a squeegee.
I was imagining the director saying, "Cut, Danny Glover, quit sweating all over the set, please."
But, it's set in Los Angeles. I bet it's hot. And he always had long sleeves on.
And they filmed it in the summertime, too, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our take on...
But still, the acting in it was spot on.
Oh, yeah. Danny Glover... I mean, he was kind of coming out of his prime physically at this point. I mean, he just got done doing Lethal Weapon 3, and they were getting ready to do Lethal Weapon 4. But, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Both guys were still in their primes. I still would have loved to see a crossover between Arnold and Danny Glover's character. That would have been just awesome. But, anyways, our future stuff coming up. we're gonna be doing, and for Halloween we're gonna be doing classic retelling of the classic.
Right, like Frankenstein, we're gonna be doing
I Frankenstein,
Frankenstein, and Dracula's gonna be
Dracula
Untold, and the Mummy.
and then the Brendan Fraser Mummy.
Right, and maybe we'll do like Van Helsing at the very end.
Ooh. Yeah, Van Helsing. That would have been fun, Van Helsing.
They even have a werewolf one that was recent, I think.
Yeah, I think it was called like the Wolfman or something. Not the
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street. I ain't watching that shit again. But no, yeah, that was what we got. We're still coming up ideas for September.
Right.
We talked about maybe doing the original Final Destination.
Is there like a special day in September, you know, besides the one?
There's Labor Day. I mean, that's the only special time in September.
Well, not the only, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. But we're gonna think of stuff. Like I said, we're coming out with new ideas and new stuff that we're gonna do. But yeah, our Halloween, we're just basically gonna do a retelling of the classic, the vintage stories. You know, the classic stories, but with a more modern twist on them. Where like Dracula Untold, I Frankenstein, The Mummy, with Brendan Fraser, not the one with Tom Cruise because I didn't like that one at all. Maybe find one on a werewolf, which if we do Van Helsing, that has a werewolf in it.
that's true.
Yeah,
That guy kind of covers them all.
yeah. One movie covers a lot of them, but that people get shit on Van Helsing. But yes, so stay tuned for our October month, and like I said, we're gonna still talk about what we're gonna do in September. That's weeks away. We're gonna still do some filler between now and then. That's probably what we're gonna end up doing is some filler.
No.
Probably find a miss for our miss list for the month.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, ring that bell, y'all,
Ring a ding, y'all. Ring a ding.
and we'll hope to see you next time.
Good night, y'all.
Night.